Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. Always interesting when we talk about refusals, rejections, and at the same time of the consistent ITAs. 4,000 ITAs, what I'm referring to is the consistent draws that are happening there. And surprisingly, based on the recent ATIP notes that was obtained by the one and only ATIP king, Stephen Murrens, the Canadian immigration lawyers, who has mastered the art of getting out those nuggets of information from IRCC archives, which we otherwise would never get to see. So this one also has been obtained by my friend Stephen Murrens. I'm just going to pull that up on the screen. And this tells you that from 31st of January 2015 until July 2024, there have been 40,000 rejections under the R10 stage. Now, for people who don't understand what is the R10 stage is the completion stage. Completion as in R stands for Immigration Refugee Protection Regulation. 10 stands for the Section 10 of the law, where it says it's your responsibility to provide to IRCC complete application, completely filled out forms, complete documentation, all the documentation in the required formats, the way that they should have been presented, right? And if you do not do that, then technically it's your problem, and they have no obligation to ask you for that document. Okay, so it's like, for example, you go to a window, right? If you were to go to a physical window to submit an application, they will go through the documents and say, okay, this is missing here, take your bunch back, go and get us the documents again. So this is the virtual way of doing it. The only problem is that if you get this application rejected at R10, you are pretty much at the back of the queue again, as in you have to start again. You have to create your Express Entry profile again. You have to get your IT again, and you have to submit your application again. Now, this becomes a problem for those people who may have received an ITA like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can ask those individuals who received their ITAs at 509, 507 scores, when the scores had dropped down to that level, and then they made a mistake. And I still remember, this is something which has been very, this has always left a big mark. 31st of May 2017, I'm going back in time, historical data. The lowest ever Express Entry draw, general draw, which was federal skilled worker draw, right? I'm not talking about the 75 CRS code. 31st of May, the lowest ever Express Entry general draw, including federal skilled workers, was at 413, 413. That was the draw. And obviously, people were ecstatic. People were excited to have received the invitations. And of course, lots of other people were expecting their scores would further drop to 410, 409, 405 kind of thing. Never had happened before. So obviously, you can imagine the excitement, it was in the air. So many people submitted their applications. And as people they rely on these agents who basically are not consultants, the ghost agents, the ghost consultants who are everywhere, or some other individuals, or doing it themselves as well, which is absolutely fine. The problem was, I know of at least 2 individuals who submitted their applications. One was from Pakistan, one was from India. They both made a similar mistake. First one uploaded a passport copy instead of a police certificate. So they did not upload a police certificate at all, because when you're uploading the documentation, sometimes you name the file numbers pretty similar, same, or sometimes you don't name the file numbers at all. They're just numbers. So instead of uploading a police clearance, this person uploaded a passport copy. So there you go. In the second instance, which was, I think, the Indian gentleman, they uploaded a marriage certificate, which was from the church, right? So obviously, depending on which faith you follow, which religion you follow, you would have marriage certificates that are given to you from those institutions, the religious institutions. In Muslims, it could be from the masjid. In Hindus, it could be from the temple. For Sikhs, it could be from the gurdwaras. For Christians, it could be from the churches. And so this gentleman got his marriage certificate from the church, and that was the marriage certificate this person uploaded. In both the cases, these applications was rejected in art. And I'm just giving you one example and how that can impact so severely. So once these applications were rejected, the problem was that they never ever received an invitation again. Why? Because that was the lowest ever score that we saw in Express Entry, 413. It never ever went down to that number or lower than that. And those 2 individuals lost out on that opportunity, never to ever come back again. So you can imagine how serious R10 rejections can be? Well, a lot of you will say, well, my score is high enough, I don't have to worry. To those individuals, I will say IRCC has been the most unpredictable or inconsistent entity out there. The draws are happening today, the draws can stop tomorrow, and once the draws will stop, then again you are back to square one with the scores going up. I mean, don't the CECs know that? The Canadian Experience Class, September 14th, 2021, was it? Or 2022? That was the last Canadian Experience Class draw at low scores, right? Everybody was expecting the scores will continue to drop. So imagine if you're a Canadian Experience Class, you had a draw and you got that ITA and it was rejected. And then Canadian Experience Class draws never went back to that low scores. What are you going to do? So therefore, please always know that while these 4,000, I see this on a daily basis. Trust me, I do thousands of consultations every year, thousands, and I'm not exaggerating at all. Anybody who wants to see, I can always show you my calendar book. But the point is, I deal with these on a daily basis. Individuals, I mean, you can come back to our Facebook group, the community that we have, which is like hundreds of thousands of people in the community there. Every day, you will see somebody posting that they got rejected at the R10. And they get upset with IRCC as to why is IRCC not sending us a document request? Well, they are not supposed to. They don't have to. They're not obligated. It is your responsibility. So therefore, I have always said that never ever be in a rush to submit your application. Don't be that, oh, my deadline is 1 month later, but I want to submit it today. Why? Because it will get processed faster. And in that rush, sometimes you get complacent. And also, if it's your own application, if it's your own documentation, you're too close. When I'm saying too close, I mean it figuratively. You're too close to your application. Sometimes you keep seeing the things that your mind wants you to see, and you miss some very important factors. Always have somebody else review it for you, a third party. Take up second pair of eyes services from companies like us or anybody else for that matter. Have somebody else go through your documentation with an absolute neutral eye, neutral perspective. They might be able to see some minor mistakes, which might be minor for you or minor in principle, but actually which can result in some very big decisions from IRCC. So therefore, this is a huge factor. Now, again, 4,000 ITAs are coming through. It is also extremely important, and I will tell you this why. And I know a lot of people will not like what I'm saying, but hear me out. LMIA points are going to go away soon. You know it, I know it, we've all been talking about it, we've all been rejoicing about it. I mean, some of you can't wait for those points to be removed. I mean, that day can't come sooner, right? We're all anxiously waiting for that out. As of right now, we will have to assume that this is going to be for all. Assume. When I'm saying assume, and I'm quoting that again over my head, is because clarity is not there. And we don't know whether this would be for all job offers, whether it will be with the LMIAs only, whether it will be for LMIA exempt job offers as well, whether it will be only for 50 points, whether it will be for 200 points. We don't know that yet. And because we don't know, we will have to just assume that it will apply to all job offers. And therefore, this R10 stage becomes even more crucial for you guys. If you are claiming 50 points, if you're claiming 200 points, if you're claiming LMIA exempt points, arranged employment points, you guys need to be extra careful. Why? Because you have received your ITA because you're sitting pretty at this high scores of 521s and above. And God forbid you make a mistake in your application and your application gets rejected, bang. You would now be on the other side of things where the points have been removed. You no longer have those points, and therefore you would have lost this opportunity pretty much forever. I mean, I don't see these things making a comeback anytime soon. So therefore, and the reason I'm stressing on this so much is because, trust me, sometimes I get teary-eyed when I talk to these individuals who have lost this opportunity. So please do not be that one person who this happens to. Do not be one of those 40,000 people. This is express entry applications received to date. From 2015 until now, they have received 629,000 applications. That's a huge number, number one. Number two, it says they have sent request letters, ADR, additional document requests, 161,000 applications. That's a lot of additional document requests. And after that, they have rejected applications, which are 40,000. Again, imagine 40,000 people who did not make it or could not make it. So please do not be one of these numbers ever. I mean, I would hate for that to happen to any